In this video, I'm going to show you how a company achieved a 50% increase in lead form submissions with a single one line of text. And I'm going to show you how you can easily copy it and test the same tactic that they use in your business today. And I'm also going to break down why it works. So the company that we're talking about today, they are in the B2C hospitality business. They're called the Hotel Institute Monroe. It's a prestigious Swiss hospitality school. Now, if you're B2B selling products or something, this may still be relevant to you. So I encourage you to watch on. We're going to get to the meat and potatoes here. But just to give you the setup, so if you are generating leads for your business, if you are a service business, if your clients sell services, you know how critical it is that you generate a consistent and steady flow of leads, because it takes time for each lead once the form is submitted to be nurtured, to get on the phone, to follow up, and then ultimately to close and to turn into revenue and then profit for the business. So continuous lead flow is critical. And today, especially, with Google search traffic dropping across the board for almost all websites between 50 to 80%, as we've documented in a previous video about Google's AI updates. They're putting the AI overviews at the top of search. That plus ChatGPT taking market share, plus Google rolling out its own AI mode. Gradually, it's going to kind of take over the whole search experience. That's why traffic has dropped so much, and it may actually continue. Now, for certain types of searches, it's okay, or certain types of industries, maybe like e-commerce, for example, as I covered in that previous video. But for most businesses, perhaps yours included, what's the solution to this problem where our traffic sources are under fire, cost per click is going up. Your other options are turned to social media, organic, which maybe you're already doing, pay per click in terms of search ads or advertising on other miscellaneous sources like Reddit. Again, it takes time and just a good chunk of money to really kind of figure out how to get those ads to even work, especially if you're just starting out. Like LinkedIn, for example, you're going to burn at least 5 to 10K before you, oftentimes, unless you get lucky, you're working with someone really good who knows what they're doing, you're going to burn 5 to 10K just figuring out, okay, like what's our customer or client acquisition cost. So the other option, though, is to focus on your funnel, on your website, and optimize the hell out of that. Because even if your traffic, like net traffic as a result of search traffic dropping, even if only dropped like around, let's say 30%, let's say your search traffic going to drop 50% overall, but net traffic dropped 30%. It's like, okay, that can impact your business by, let's say, a 30% drop in revenue. The way that you can make up for it by optimizing your existing website and overall sales funnel by making small tweaks like what I'm about to show you here in this video. It's more doable than you think to achieve a 30% increase and even a 50 or even 100% increase over time. It's just these little incremental wins, and it comes honestly just from empathizing and understanding what works, why it works, and also just like the context and kind of mental and emotional space that your prospective customers or clients are in. So for the case of this Swiss hotel, and I don't want you to focus too much on like, well, it's a hotel and, therefore, I'm going to watch some AI generated slop instead. No, really pay attention here, because when you test this tactic on your site, I'm confident that there's a good chance that you will be able to get a positive result, whether it's 50% increase in lead form submissions, which hell, like that's worth it for just about anyone. Just a few more minutes, my friends. Stay tuned. So in the case of this business, the Hotel Institute Monroe, a prestigious Swiss hospitality school, they had a lead generation problem. Their programs were world-class, but the inquiry form just had terrible completion rates. And prospective students would start filling it out on their website, but then just go away. They'd abandon it. Now, their internal team, they tried redesigning the form. They tried removing form fields, changing colors. And removing form fields, that is related to one of the 11 laws of sales funnel physics, which is our proprietary framework that we teach here at Growbo. And by the way, I'll talk more about Growbo in a second, but if you're interested, we offer an on-demand marketing fulfillment team that empowers you to delegate all of your marketing tasks and projects, even tactics like the one that I'm teaching you here, so that you can focus on what you do best in your business, whether that's overall strategy, servicing customers or clients, or just making, again, the big strategic decisions of like what needs to be executed on. And in terms of marketing, that's what we help you with, is to execute your marketing with fast turnaround times and quality checks built in. So you can learn more after this video or right now if you're interested by going to growbo.com. we have our proprietary framework of the 11 laws of sales funnel physics. And in terms of removing form fields from the form in this case, which their team attempted to do, that's related to the law of friction. Because generally, when it comes to lead generation, if you remove form fields, as I've seen many case studies of this, and I'll probably cover this in future videos, it actually just decreases the amount of work that a prospect has to do, and therefore conversions will go up. Now, the downside to doing this is that oftentimes, and maybe this is what they say when it says it didn't work, I would suspect that they probably did get more throughput, but it's likely that maybe the quality of the leads perhaps dropped because it just became like a certain level of work is actually good because someone who is truly interested in your product or service, they're going to fill out the form, or the checkout page if you're selling a product, for example. So the throughput would generally be increased by decreasing the friction, meaning less form fields, especially, for example, if there's one form field like that's particularly requiring a higher degree of trust, like asking for a phone number, for example, would be a big one. But anyway, in this case, it didn't work for them. And they were about to hire an expensive customer experience consultant when they tested one more simple thing. So here's the tactic. The Hotel Institute Monroe, the thing that they tested was placing a testimonial directly above, and on the same page with the lead generation form. This resulted in a 50% increase in lead form submissions. And you can see on the screen exactly what this looks like in terms of the control and the variation, the original versus what was tested and ultimately prevailed to drive the result of a 50% increase. So in this case, you can see, and we're going to go over the principles at work here so you know how now to implement this tactic and get a result for your business. It's the one line of text, and it is an authentic image, okay? So first with the line of text, right? It is a testimonial. It says, Monroe is a great place to study and the school is set up for students and their study needs. And you can see the name of the student, the full name of the student, where he's from, what he's getting his diploma in. This is social proof. This is aligned with, again, one of our 11 laws, which is the law of proof. And there are many different flavors and types of proof. And social proof being like one of the core elements of proof overall. Just think, credibility, right? Substance. Proof comes in many forms. In this case, it is a testimonial. Like in your case, it could be a 5-star review. But it's clear. It's an example of also future pacing. So basically, when someone is on this page, this is kind of like the moment of truth for them. And if they fill this out, they're making some sort of an effort and a soft commitment to receive information and to be marketed to. In order to do that, though, they need to feel comfortable and at least somewhat confident it's going to align with what they want, right? Which is their decision needs to kind of be affirmed. We want our decisions to be affirmed. We don't want any perceived risk. Are you just going to send me spam? Do I actually want to go to the school? Is this a good idea? And again, future pacing here comes in the form of, what is future pacing? It's basically like being able to kind of envision yourself after the decision has been made, after the purchase or investment has been made, and you feel good about it. You don't regret it. Quite the opposite. You're happy. Your decision to invest, to trust said business or brand has been affirmed. Okay. And this is future pacing because again, it's you can kind of, the prospective student is put into the shoes, or if it's a family member, maybe filling this out for their, daughter or son, it's able to project a future image where, again, like they're satisfied. Okay. Now, the other element here in terms of the type of proof is, and this is where the law of alignment comes in. The law of alignment basically says that like a funnel, a web page, an email, an offer, it will convert to the degree that it aligns with a prospective customer or client's spoken and unspoken expectations and desires and needs. In this case, we have an inherent desire to avoid that which feels sort of like salesy or commercial. And we prefer, in terms of, again, aligning with our preferences, which this does by having this genuine photo of, an authentic looking photo of a student, an okay looking young gentleman in a suit and a tie. He's not like a professional model. It's not some stock photo. Stock photos, we've seen multiple case studies where they just don't convert because stock photos feel commercial. This can apply to AI images as well. There's still a relatively good ability. And, us humans, we are getting better and sharper at detecting AI and, AI generated images. So in this case, it looks kind of like human because it's not perfect. And we appreciate that. It makes it more believable too. So it's selling on that level as well. But there's one non-obvious level in terms of persuasion for why and how this is actually working. All right. And for that, I want to read to you the closing sentence from the webpage where this case study was originally published. In the closing paragraph, it says, in this case, there was another factor at work, placement. Social proof acts as a strong influence for your visitors' zero moment of truth. Placing social proof close to the CTA, the call to action, in this case, filling out and submitting the lead generation form, tends to magnify the impact on conversions. Okay. Again, the zero moment of truth is filling out this form. You need some level of emotion to like actually propel you either away or towards something. In this case, the testimonial is working to just decrease perceived risk. Okay, it's aligning with our preferences, but moreover, it's also highly visible. Now, this relates to the law of visibility from our 11 laws framework, which says that we will convert on offers to the degree that a call to action, for example, is visible so that we are aware of it, we can see it, we're reminded of it, but also to the degree that like the content that is most important, that we also see that, further again, aligning with our preferences. So in this case, this testimonial could have been placed on the previous page, and it likely would not have worked as well as placing it right here for people to see at this zero moment of truth, highly visible, authentic, simple, and therefore most persuasive. So there you have it. That's the tactic. Now, in terms of implementing this, it's pretty straightforward for your business. You can just model this example directly, placing social proof, a simple testimonial or 5-star review next to your form, perhaps even on your checkout forms. If you have like a productized service, as we do at Growbo, we have social proof on our checkout page. And it has incrementally helped us to actually convert more clients and gain more client signups. But in most cases, you're generating leads as a service business, and placing social proof, again, at that moment of truth in your funnel, identifying that correct area is something that you need to do in order for this to work effectively for you. But it's also the format, because you want to strategically choose a testimonial or a review that does what this does here. It's future pacing. It's kind of like after I fill out this form, maybe a day, a week, even months from now, what do I want to be thinking? What do I want to be feeling? In this case, it was Monroe is a great place to study, and the school is set up for students and their study needs. No regret, no buyer's remorse. So for example, for your service, it might be formatted something like this. In an ideal world, you don't have to exactly follow this, because obviously testimonials, you need to request them from clients or customers, and they're going to write them kind of how they're going to write them. Sometimes they might ask for guidance depending on what type of relationship you have, and you can they'll kind of work with you on the format here. But it might be something like, before I submitted this form, I wasn't sure if blank, your service, your product was worth it, but it was the best decision I ever made. Name and, title or location or whatever is relevant, to your target audience. Does the location matter? Does their title matter? For example, if they are a C-level executive and that's who you're selling to, the title might matter, or the name of the company, for example. You may also want to consider using testimonials that mention ROI, time saved, or the specific problem that was solved as it relates. And it should directly relate to your core value proposition as you've advertised it and explained it on your website. And even if you don't have a ton of traffic where you can easily and quickly A/B test this, because for A/B tests to be statistically significant, as was the case here, statistically significant just means like you can say with 95% or greater confidence, statistically speaking, that if you ran the test 100 more times, you're confident that it would at least have the same results 95 out of 100 of those times. It's highly likely that the damn thing works as expected, right? The tactic is actually the cause, and it's not just some statistical fluke, because again, it's randomized in terms of showing the control versus the variation. You can do an A/B test. Alternatively, you can just do a sequence test. Just, check out the stats before, and then implement it and see if the stats actually go up after in any meaningful way. Because the probability that this will work for you, even just incrementally, if you actually follow the principles that work here, is pretty decent. And if you would like help finding these opportunities and many others on your website, and in general, just delegating all of your digital marketing tasks and projects without the headaches of hiring, I encourage you to check out Growbo.com. Applying exactly what I'm teaching you here, these principles of and tactics and strategies of marketing, we grew to be a 7-figure and then multi-million-dollar company. And it's my pleasure to serve you and many other members of our audience who become clients on a regular basis through videos like this. And we give you an all-in-one marketing fulfillment team to really help you to execute on your marketing ideas. Because otherwise, doing it yourself, doing it in-house, your team is busy or you are busy. And if you could just delegate that to a team of proven pros who will get it done with quality checks built into the flow, and you can just get so much more done, you can iterate so much faster, that's going to help you to continuously grow and see compounding results that will be easily able to overcome any changes or shifts in the market like we saw with Google search traffic affecting many businesses today. So check us out at Growbo.com. We have a 14-day money-back guarantee, and you can get started. You get an all-in-one digital marketing team that you can delegate all of your tasks and projects to, just like this tactic here in this video. And again, you get 13 skills for your team, like copywriting, design, development, design including graphic design, and web design, apps management. So we'll work with Go High Level or whatever your CRM is, whatever your tech stack is, we can work with it. And you get a dedicated project manager as well. And ads management, we can do your social media. It's an all-in-one team for less than the cost of one full-time virtual assistant. And it's an amazing value. Check it out at Growbo.com to learn more. And another way that you can learn more is by opting in to get our PDF of 33 examples of projects and tasks that you can delegate to Growbo right now. The link is in the description below. So click that below right now to opt in to learn more. I will see you soon. Keep growing. Stay focused.